Okay, good evening. Welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining Picnic with Panic Series 6. Okay, being a servant leader, thanks a lot for your support for the past 5 weeks. So, I'm Meyya from Shala. So, my native is Rachale, uh, temporarily Smartul Manul. So, as you know, for the first 3 weeks, I was doing on more on public speaking. Then I switched to motivation. Then the previous series I did on career talk. So then I thought, okay, something motivational, public speaking. So that actually brings us to leadership also. So that's why I thought, okay, let's do something leadership, but on a different. Okay, so when you look at different genre, people always say leadership means you must be a politician, or on the other side, you must be in a corporate world. Okay, so of course, when you're in a corporate world, is different because you have a boss or superior, and as a subordinate, you have to follow them, or you have to abide for their instructions. So it's different. The thing is that how you get motivated or how you lead. But nevertheless, being in a non-profit organization, okay, so it's a different style of leadership. Okay, so the thing is that how do you really motivate or manage people, or can you really run a non-profit organization being a leader? Okay, being in a different geographical area or different having different nationalities in your team. Okay, so you have different challenges and stuff. So that's why I thought, okay, let's get two different speakers who have experience and have gone through this journey on non-profit organizations and being a servant leader itself. Okay, so that's why we're going to speak today on being a servant leader. And these two speakers are the first speaker will be Thannimalai Letchumanan. He's from Penang, and he's the past region advisor of Toastmaster International. So when I say region, it's not only in Malaysia; it covers Indonesia, Brunei, Thailand, and several other countries in Asia. Okay, and he was also the past president of a Rotary Club of Tanjung Bunga, and also past state secretary of National Union of Bank Employees Malaysia. Okay, and our second speaker for today is Valliammai. Okay, she's from Klang, and she was the past division director. Right, she managed several clubs under her division, and apart from that, she was also a legal advisor of Pink Unity, a National Cancer Society of Malaysia. All right, so there we have two different speakers. Okay, so we will be discussing with them on this journey of servant leadership. So before I go on the questions and I chat with them, just advice of kindly mute your speaker, okay, so that we will not have any noise disturbance. And second, should you have any questions in between, you may also put it at the chat box, okay, so we will answer that during the question and answer session. All right, so let's move on with the session today. All right, first we want to Thannimalai. So thanks a lot for placing the session today. So the first question for you is, for you, what do you really mean by servant leadership?
Vanakkam and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to thank Meyya for inviting me to be one of the speakers here today. And I would like to congratulate him for doing this over 6 sessions. Now he is into the 6th session. Wish him the very best to do a lot more sessions like this, which benefit the community. My name is Thannimalai. I'm from Penang. I'm a banker by profession. When you ask me what is servant leadership is all about, I could relate. I've been involved in many activities, NPO activities. I started off my career as a bank clerk in a bank, in a foreign bank in Penang. And that time I had an opportunity to be serving a trade union. Not many people like to go into trade union because trade union, you question the management. You ask them when things go wrong. And this is the kind of fear we have. We put ourselves behind and we say no. I don't want to be a bad guy. I want to be a good guy. I want to get promoted fast and all those things. So that was an excellent experience for me. I was in trade union for almost 10 years. While I was doing my studies, I acquired my qualification to get promoted, but I chose to be in trade union. Why? Very simple. Because you use your skills to serve, to bring awareness to the people on their rights against victimization. I'm not running down any management organization. Management's main objective is to make profits. So who protect the welfare of the workers? You need an equal bargaining power, at least. Even if it is not equal, at least a little bit stronger to voice. So when you say trade union, you bring the voice of the members together to fight for the workers. Fortunately, I was also in the state level. I was managing about 200 branches in Penang with about 2,000 members, a national exco member in that as well. So for me, servant membership is all about not about thinking about ourselves. It's about serving people. The main intention is thinking about people and bringing satisfaction to them. And how do you do it? Through your approachable nature, you become active listener, you become simple and humble. Listen to them. And when you get those issues, then you try to resolve them by applying your skills. So in simple terms, I would say servant leadership is all about others first. Service and others first, not us. To you, speaker.
Thank you, Thannimalai. Yes, service first, put others first, not yourself. Right. Fantastic words. Now to Valliachi, the same question now. What do you mean by servant leadership from your opinion?
Thank you, Meyya. Thank you for inviting me to be a speaker for this forum. For me, servant leadership is basically finding yourself, your skills, your strength, your abilities, your inner abilities, which you didn't know you have. For example, when I joined Toastmasters about 24 years ago, I came from a legal background. That time I was in legal, compliance, and regulatory. So dealing with people in your office is totally different. But when you come into a different organization, you don't know those people. They are from different walks of life, different ages, different generation, and you have to work with them. And that's where you discover a lot of things which was so new to you. So you sort of evolve along the way. Now, servant leadership is not being, I'm the boss and you do what I say. It doesn't work that way anymore. It's more like if you are having an event and if you have to move that table and chairs, just because you're a president or you're a leader, you don't just sit there and expect all your others members to do it. You also must lift your bum, go and move the chair, go and move the table, help them organize. So it's basically coming down to being very down to earth, human. You let go of all your ego and all and work together as a team. So that's what servant leadership is about. It's not about basically authority. I mean, yeah, in namesake, you can say you are the president, you're the leader, but it's jiving in with all your other members and making that project or making your term a success.
All right. Thanks, Valliachi. So yeah, being a president is not about your egoism or you're the boss. It's more evolving yourself. Right. Great. So since Valliachi said that you can't be the boss, you have to serve the people. Now, Thannimalai, I just want to ask you, when you become the president or the governor or the leader of the thing of the organization, some people always say money tree, you must have money, you must be a rich person, so only then you can be the number one person. Okay, otherwise you cannot be a leader. So how true it is for you?
I would blame it on perception. It's all about perception because every organization has its rules and regulations. You have a democratic process of electing yourself into whichever position that you want if you want to serve. So if you see only rich people or people with money can gain those positions, then I think we are creating a wrong connotation to the public. That should not be the case. If someone is interested, just come forward, exhaust the avenues available, the legal avenues, and get yourself elected. Instead of staying on the sideline and blaming others, hey, he's the president, he's rich, he became president, I don't have money, I can't be president. Service is not about money, excuse me. Money is should never be a criteria, although we see many organizations may have leaders in such a manner, but money should not be a criteria. Leadership is all about willingness. Are you willing to serve? Can you do a good job? Can you put the interests of other people in your service oriented avenue? Then please don't just sit at the side, move in, exhaust the avenues and get yourself elected. That's my opinion.
Okay, great. So exhaust avenue. So definitely, you definitely have policy procedures. So once you follow, you serve yourself. Definitely, people will definitely support you. All right. So, Valliachi, by joining this kind of a non-profit organization, what do you think the benefits are for the people or for the leader itself?
I think Tani and you will agree, it's boundless, it's abundance, it's so much of value. You grow, you definitely grow. There's inner growth in the way you deal with people, your personal skills, the way you handle problems, the way you see life. Everything, it's an open space, and you just have to open your eyes and see it, observe it. And it's really marvelous only if you're willing to let yourself go into an organization and be involved 100%. If you just be a side member, then you're not going to benefit at all. If you don't contribute, the more you give, the more you get, they say. So if you don't contribute at all, but just sit there as a silent member or an observer, you're not going to get anything. Like for me personally, after Toastmasters, I took on as the legal advisor for Queen Unity. Queen Unity is an interest group for the ladies who have survived cancer. So I myself, having survived cancer for the past 15 years, this was an opportunity for me to give back to the members. And I also am the main facilitator for a sharing session among women with cancer. Now, I don't have any background on sharing or psychology or whatever, but because I'm so involved in Toastmasters and over the years, I have handled people. So this has allowed me to become a facilitator for a sharing session. So there's so much of skills and leadership. I mean, you will never get to do something in your office. In your office, you could be your own boss, a boss or subordinate. You have a few subordinates, a few staff. But dealing with a community with a total different strangers brings out a lot of different leadership skills in you. So you discover a lot of things and you push yourself to do the best, to serve the best to your ability. And I think that's so marvelous. And all this money cannot buy. So you have to give it your best. Back to you, Maya.
Thank you, Archie. Definitely, you need to evolve yourself, and of course, you cannot sideline or be a observer or passenger. You need to be a leader. Get involved. So that's great. So, Thannimalai, I actually, when I was also a Toastmaster, I'm still a Toastmaster. So when I was leading as an area director or area governor, you were also in the committee, the district committee. So the thing is that you were still in your 3 series then. Okay, so of course you're still young. The thing is that when you were a leader then, you still had people who were much more older than you, people in 5 series, 6 series, or even 7 series. But they were reporting to you. So how did you manage people who were more senior to you in age? People can say, you're a small boy, how come you are directing me or instructing me? You know. So maybe your opinion.
Okay, very good question. When I became a district governor of District 51, Peninsula, Malaysia, which had about 300 over clubs, I was only 36 years old. I believe until today, I may still hold the record as the youngest district governor for Toastmasters in District 51. So how do I manage people of elderly age or older than me, I think it boils down to your leadership style. When we are very sincere in doing certain things, you earn people's respect. So that is how we build credibility. Not just in Toastmasters, any organization for that matter. If a young leader rises up on merits, it's not a free wild card, on merits you rise up, you will have a stronger foundation for yourself. So with that stronger foundation, if you are polite, you are respectful, you would certainly earn the respect of the people, regardless of the age. But of course, you will have some hindrances, some senior people telling you, oh, this is the culture, this is the custom, this is how we've been doing, etc., etc. It just doesn't change over a night. You need to put in effort. So I remember having a lot of similar obstacles during my leadership in District 51 governor. And I think it is all boils down to communication again. You sit down with that elderly person, you reason out, you give your reasons, they give their reasons, and you see how you can find a midway. I believe if there's a will, there's always a way. It is just the courage is needed. Regardless of the age, we just have to go in, find a spot, communicate with people and see what are the hindrances. If they create hindrances merely because of your uh, age, then I think it is not fair. So you need to bring in a third party to probably sit together and square that off, So age should not be a barrier. So in conclusion, I think personally it is possible. If you have a credibility, you are man of principle, you execute things according to the values preached by many people, the moral values are there, then people will respect you regardless of your age. And that is how you buy in the the age gap factor in. To you, Meyya.
All right, thank you, and well said. So sincerity definitely earns credibility. So long you follow principles, you know what you do. So definitely people or the organization itself will respect you. All right.
Yeah,
So
Meyya,
yeah,
can I add on? Because
yeah,
when
go ahead.
Sunny was district director or governor then for 51, I was his division director for C. So I have seen what servant leadership is to the epitome. Sunny had displayed that, although he was much younger than most of us at that of his team. So it's very important. Age is not a barrier at all when you have to, a young person have to deal with an older set group. It's all about whether you want to handle it or not.
All right. Okay.
Back
Great.
to you.
Well said, Archie. Yeah. So, Archie, another follow-up question on that. When you have an organization like a club or organization where it could be lacking either in funds or could be lacking in number of members. Okay, there should be some issues. But when you become leader, how do you motivate your members to actually get the organization running?
Okay. Meyya, that's a very interesting, challenging question because nowadays a lot of people are very not proactive. They like to be on their own, live on their own, be within their own four walls, and they're very happy with it. But once you find you have a club or you have an association or an organization, and you don't see people coming, and the rest of the members are so demotivated, firstly, you have to motivate yourself first. You have to get that energy first. And then you motivate the existing members and think of ways and means of getting everything going. Because if you wish to put out the white flag and say surrender, you must be consciously clear that you have done everything to the nitty gritty and then finally you couldn't make it. So it must be a journey where you've discovered a lot of things and finally doesn't work, then you say, okay, I'm giving up. But until then, you must try your maximum. And you must also invite others to come and motivate your members and speakers from outside. You must find ways and means. Now, today's world, Zoom, so many social media, everything can be done. Everything is possible. So I think everybody faces different set of challenges. It's just that whether you want to overcome it or not. At the end of the day, it's all about you. If you want to do it, you can do it.
Mhm.
You may,
Yeah, great.
May I just a
Yeah.
note on that? I think on that score, I think Valli got to be congratulated how she keep afloat the Lavangam Tamil Toastmasters Club. I remember when I was in KL, I traveled to Klang to attend the meeting. Although the numbers were very small, but you could see the commitment from her to arrange meals, to arrange a program, to have a proper Toastmaster of the day. I was amazed, So that energy and with the Zoom coming into play with this MCO, their meetings has been going on actively, and I see a lot more people are coming in. So we just have to hold on sometimes, before the energy picks up again.
Thank you,
So
Tani.
to the energy and for leadership starts with you first, and yeah, like what Archie said, I agree. You need to go look out for sources. There are a lot of supports everywhere, so you just need to look out for them and get the right source and motivate the people, right? So Thannimalai, just a question on when you're working, of course, in organization, a company would pay you well, okay, they pay you salary, and let's say when you do well, you have good bonuses, okay, or sometimes they give you special perks for you achieving something, okay. So there's always a monetary thing, there's salary, there's allowance, but in a non-profit organization, you're not working for salary. So the thing is that how do you still get your works done when the members or your subcommittee members are not being paid. Right?
Okay. This is this is how the leadership style comes in. How do we keep people inspired to be in the journey? Because we can't reward them through monetary value, unlike corporate organization, precisely like what you said. Since I also work for a corporate, I know how it operates. So in a non-profit organization, we just have to motivate them and make them see the value in the program. For examples, in Toastmasters, or even for that matter in Rotary. I was a Rotary Club president for one term. So how do we keep members coming in? Because they all buy into the objective of Rotary, serving to the mankind. So when you have that clearance in your mind, you don't even mind spending your own money, spending your own time, traveling a longer journey to give what you can to the mankind. So people must see the value, and they must be inspired by the value. And certainly each and every one of us, we got to be role models for these people. So when they look up to you, hey, you have progressed so much, look at me. Some of them tell me, I joined into the employment force at the age of 19 without even a degree. Only after that I acquired my degree by working the same organization I'm still in. So how much I have grown. So what has made him to grow? Okay, his involvement in Toastmasters, Union, Rotary. So you become a role model. When you become a role model, people want to emulate you. And when they emulate, everybody progress together.
Well said. So you need to be a role model for the people itself, and I feel they will emulate. So it's leadership by example, I would say. So, Valliachi, it's an interesting question now. When you're always at the number one position or as a leadership position, right? There's always people try to bring you down or talk bad. They call it bad mounting. So there's always a negative wind or a negative motivation coming in. So, what's your advice for a potential leader? Because they always say people will say something. In Tamil, பின்னாடி பேசிக்கிட்டே இருக்காங்க, எப்ப பார்த்தாலும் தப்பா பேசிக்கிட்டே இருக்காங்க. So I don't want the position at all. So what's your advice on this?
Yeah, actually, this happens everywhere lah. When three people get together, they're bound to gossip anyway. So it's basically why you joined that. Why did you take up that leadership? And are you consciously clear of what you want? What is your objective? What you want to achieve? What you want to give back to that community? Once you're very clear on it, you really don't give two hoots what other people are talking about. It's so irrelevant. Or maybe they're talking about it, take it as a challenge and change and find ways of making it more successful. So whatever they say, take it as a motivation for you to excel better. And that is how you cannot be demotivated by what they say, because you have so many people in your group, in your organization. People are bound to talk. Let them talk. So what? But you are here doing the work. You are here getting your hands dirty. You are here giving back to community, and they are not doing it. They can say, "Ayya, the event was successfully nadakala." But what do they know? The pain, the suffering, the sacrifices that one individual has gone through to make that event successful. So actually, I think I would not give two hoots lah. I mean, easy said than done, but it's a process. Once you reach a chapter in your life, in your leadership track, you don't pay much attention to them at all. You just have to be so set in what you want to achieve when you join that community or when you join that organization. And I think that's very important. People can be demotivated, especially people who are sensitive. They say, oh, they said like this, I don't want to be the president anymore. They can have that position, but which is wrong. That means you have not grown in your leadership track at all. You let others influence your decision, which is wrong. So that's why leadership is a journey. It doesn't come in 6 months or 1 year. It's a self-growth. And sadly, many people don't see community service as an acquirement. Like if I can speak more on this, people always see success by the properties they have, by the assets they have, by their career growth. But people don't see success can also be in different ways. Your self-success. You don't have to do masters or you don't have to do PhD. That could be a different success for a career. But what is your self-success when you want to give back to community? Giving back to community is important. You can't live in your own four walls and say, hey, I'm the king of my castle. Because there's a bigger kingdom out there. The world is out there. So you need to contribute, because what you give, you get back. That is the law of the universe. Back to you, Meyya.
Thank you, Achi. So definitely focusing on your objective, what's your real purpose, contributing and serving the organization or the community. So that comes first rather than what people are saying. So yeah, like what Archie said, nothing kills you, actually develops you or builds you. So that's one of the quote which I can share. So Anne, I understand you are a family member, you have kids, your family. So you also have your daily job in corporate. And apart from that, you're also involved in various non-profit organizations, Rotary, Toastmasters, and Bloom and stuff. So how do you actually divide your time? If you can advise us on that.
Okay. I think this could be a challenge for many people, including me. In fact, now I have 2-year-old twins, which most of the time that is occupying me, disabling me from joining Zoom meetings and so on. But you see, this is all part and parcel of life. So if we have a focused mindset, you can deliver anything that you want. For example, what I do is that, I get them to bed first, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Once they are slept, once they're already sleeping, then I get into my work. I got to do some office work, sometimes Rotary work, Toastmasters. These things start after that. So I just have to sleep a little later, and probably alternatively, I can get up a little early before they wake up and get things done as well. So the important thing is scheduling and prioritizing. Are you prioritizing the right thing? It's important. Family can never be ignored. Family will take the first priority in all our lives. We can't deny that. But when we get involved in many more other things, although we can't give an equal contribution, we got to find way to give a fair level of time and contribution. Because we cannot be shortchanging other people who are expecting some results from us because of our involvement. So we can't give family as an excuse. We just have to, in economics, they call it where demand and supply intervenes, it becomes an equilibrium. So it keeps changing. So you just have to find it. Everybody have limited time, 24 hours only. So how we prioritize, schedule our tasks according to the requirements, that will make the difference. That's how I do. And I won't say I'm very successful. No, I'm still struggling. But at least I'm somewhere approaching towards a fair equilibrium in my life.
So it's more on focusing, what comes first, and make sure you have a fair equation, or have fair chance to everyone. Make sure you focus on the important matters. So that's well said, Anand. So coming to Archie, when you become a leader, of course, the first few weeks or first 2 months, the members or your subcommittee members will be always, very energetic. But going towards a third month, fourth month, or even a sixth month, somehow some people the motivation goes down, or some people will be focusing on different directions. So, as a leader, how do you actually keep them together, or keep them gelled, so that you can achieve the organization's goal?
What happens is, yeah, they all come in, they want to be in the exco team or in the leadership team because they have their own motives. And then later when they come in, they find out, oh, got so much of work to do. Yeah, I don't want lah. I just be a silent exco member. So in this sense, you cannot just, because they have been, let's say they have been elected by the other members to be in an exco team, for example, you can't just tell them, hey, I cannot work with you lah, you just leave and go lah, so we can have different people come in and replace you. You cannot. So this is where your leadership skills come in. Like Tani always says, servant leadership, this is where it comes in. So when you're a leader, don't only do your own, know only your own function, but it's best to know a holistic approach to leadership. You also know function of A, you also know the function of B, the role of C, and the role of D. So if anything they cannot do, then you can go in and also help out. Once you have a set of EXCO members, some of them who do not perform, then you have to rely on other members to help you out. And all this is about communication. You have to sit one-to-one over a cup of tea or coffee and talk to them. Hey, you know, we are not performing, we are not going through the direction we want. Are you having any problems? Do you think I can help you? So basically, it's communication. It's making them feel that they're very important to be part to the organization, to make them feel that they're somebody. And then sometimes it gets going. This kind of feeling helps them feel, oh, okay, I'm in an important position. Actually, it's not just namesake. And then they will help out. Sometimes some people cannot be helped at all, they're completely useless. So you still keep them in that position, but you get the others to help you. So that's why as a leader, you must have a hawk's view, hawk's eye, you know, on everybody and is everything going on. You cannot assume, I've delegated that work, they will get it done. No way, it doesn't work that way. You still have to be on top of things, get them to report to you, look at what's going on. You can't just let go like that and say, it's his work lah, he will do it. Because finally, when you got to do it, and you got to do an event or you've got to do a project, that's where you don't want to be slapped on your face and say, oh my God, this didn't get done. So it's basically communicating and finding ways of means of handling this kind of people.
All right. So looks like we're looking at Archie's advice. I must have more teh tarik sessions or mama sessions with my subcommittee members. All right. So, so this is another question. As a Nagarta, do you foresee more Nagartas taking up leadership roles in non-profit organizations?
I think you can see some because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not in all the organizations, but I do see, sometimes when temple related activities and so on during temple functions, you can see the leadership trait of our Nagaratar boys coming
Mm-hmm.
forward. So when you give them an opportunity, I'm sure they are there. They are there to give you even a better outcome. So it's all about giving opportunity. First, we need to inspire as parents. I think it is also our responsibility to encourage our kids to join some organization where they can build up their leadership skills, get to understand how this works, and then once they are in, they will feel that they are gaining a new experience and they can start learning new things. They will start appreciating. And when they come out to studies, after their studies and so on, when they come out to the work life, they will really see these efforts bearing fruits to them. So Nagaratar boys, yes, as far as I've seen, especially in temple and so on, they have come forth, they've contributed very effectively with a lot of amazing ideas. We just need to give them opportunity. An opportunity not just in the temple activities, but many more options. If MTA can come in, Malaysia Tanam Sangam can come in with some program where people of different organization can come and share and inspire the young people. I think that would be an excellent move to create awareness, and awareness can actually lead them to be more involved.
Right. Well said, and so the opportunity comes. So once opportunity comes, so I hope the youngsters definitely make use of it. So it's very crucial for future generation. So coming to Archie, it's a similar question. The thing is that when you say Archie, they always say, okay, I'm going to be a housewife and I will manage my kids. Okay, I got houseworks to do. So they always keep on telling these kind of usual reasons. So what is your advice for Archies to take up roles?
Actually, Meyya, if you look at all our participants today, none of them are women, if the name as appears. So maybe their perception is I'm a housewife or I'm a working mother, I do not have time. But when you look at other communities, working mothers, homemakers, they still somehow participate in their own small community. Maybe it could be an association regarding their residents or their condominiums. They still get themselves involved. I think it's a perception of how our background has been. You cannot participate in this because then you won't have time for children, you won't have time for home, or you won't have time for your career. And I think that mind has to change because women can perform, multitask a lot of many, take on many roles. And I think they shouldn't let go of this because it's still a self-growth. What happened? It's okay if you're a housewife, you can still grow. You don't only put a stop. Okay, I'm a housewife, I'm not going to learn anything for the rest of my life. There's no growth for me. That's a wrong perception. People must change. And I think family members must support them towards this. It's very important. Spouses must understand, children must understand mother has a different life also besides being a mom and homemaker. So all these perceptions must change. And it can change only if the lady herself want to take that step to contribute or to find herself doing community work, because no one else can push her into it unless she wants it. So a lot of adjustments, a lot of flexibilities, a lot of different views have to change for people to, for ladies to come forward to take on these roles. So if, never mind, you cannot give a commitment for 1 year, at least try 6 months, at least try 3 months, at least you know you've got out of your comfort zone and found other things, a bigger world out there, and maybe it could help you in some other ways. And people must see that, you know, they mustn't be constrained to their foredrawn corners. Back to you, Meyya.
Okay, thank you, Archie. So it's really a mindset change, and like what Thannimalai said, it's the opportunity. So the ladies or the Archies have make use of the opportunities, and the leaders of the organization, like Sangam or any other organizations, has to actually give the opportunities more to our Archies, so that we can also bring up their skills and whatever leadership abilities that they have. All right, so that actually wrapped up our discussion session. Now let's move on with the Q&A segment. So I've already received a question here. What is the basic quality to be a good leader? Right, maybe Thannimalai, you can handle this. What is the basic quality? What is the basic qualities to be a good leader?
To be a born leader, is it?
To be a good leader.
Good leader, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, qualities, there can be an enormous number of qualities. If you ask me, whether you should not doubt yourself whether you have those qualities or not, just get into a leadership role and do it. And along the way, you can acquire the qualities. As my example, which I shared earlier, at the age of 19, I was started working, and at the age of 21, I was already in the trade union. What qualities you think I would have had at the age of 21? I didn't have a basic degree at that point in time. I just had a banking diploma qualifications. So what quality would I thought? But of course, the principles and values that we preach along the way since birth, that actually helps you to, feeds you to deliver a sincere delivery of service. Qualities, of course, people will say, if you look at books, they will say you need to be disciplined, you must be a good time management, you must motivate people. There can be enormous, you can just list it down, 10 to 20 qualities. That doesn't matter. Whether you have it or not doesn't matter. First, do you have the courage? Are you prepared to learn? Are you open-minded to receive constructive feedback from people? When people say, hey, you have not done well, this is wrong, can you accept it? Or do you get dejected by that? These are the things that actually lays the avenue for us to get all the good qualities to be a strong leader. So don't hesitate to get into a leadership roles just because you have or you don't have certain qualities. Qualities can be acquired. Just get in. Passion and courage is so important. Make that first step into any organization of leadership, and then you can pick up the qualities. What qualities matter to me may not matter to somebody else, because it's very subjective. End of the day, it's when you are on their shoes, the leadership shoes, how do you deliver? What are your values that you preach? So in conclusion, I would say what matters most is the values and principles of yourself. Use that to get into leadership roles, and qualities can then fall into place. To you, Meyya.
All right, thank you. So qualities can be acquired, and yeah, as one Nike said, just do it. So that's what even Thannimalai said. And of course, courage, open-minded, willing to receive feedback. These are the crucial points in leadership roles that a person should have. Right. So let's move on to the next question. In NGO, we face race relationship problems. How do you overcome it? Archie, you can handle this. He's asking race relationship problems.
Okay,
So how do you go?
it's actually you have to understand each race, their culture, their tradition. Because when I'm in Ping Unity, we have all the cultures, all the from each ethnic group. So it's quite a great challenge because for me personally, I've never been very exposed to a Malay setup before. So to deal with them when I am in Ping Unity is different because they have their own way of thinking, their own way of perception. What we think is right, they may think it's wrong, or they don't seem to understand. So the way I handle it is by going and understanding them first, because they all come from different backgrounds and they're different ages. The elderlies have got a different mindset, the young people have a different mindset. So I would always deal with them one to one first, and then call for a meeting and talk to them in a group. So when you create a trust, when you create a rapport with individual persons, it's more easier to handle. They accept you. The acceptability is in question here. If you think you feel that you know everything and you portray that image, then you won't penetrate through them. You've got to be humble. You must show that I am willing to be with you, I'm willing to help you, we can work this together. So I think that understanding, that creation of rapport, the trust, the ability to connect with them is very important. Race is not an issue because there's so many organizations with multiracial members. In fact, it's a good challenge to be a leader in an organization with a multi-racial set of members because it really brings out a lot more skills that you thought you didn't have, but you discover it along the way. So I think that's a great challenge to be a leader in a multiracial organization. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you, Archie. So, as what Archie said, build rapport, understand one-to-one, have one-to-one conversation means you must still have more coffee sessions, or in Malaysia we call it teh tarik sessions. Right? So, moving on to the next question. Some leaders prefer their team members to be in line with their thinking. By having this, sometimes our inputs becomes invaluable. Any thoughts on this? Maybe Thannimalai and handle
Okay.
this.
I think this is something echoing a yes man situation. In organizations, the bosses expect people to be a yes man and yes woman. So the moment you speak up, then you become, you become labeled. And sometimes our views or feedback is not also taken. In my opinion, I think that shouldn't stop us because our consciousness got to be strong. We got to feel satisfied of doing justice to whatever roles we have. Even I remember, even in my corporate world, in meetings that I sit, I never hesitate asking questions. I never hesitate asking my bosses tough questions. Why? Because that's what comes to me. I need to ask. I need an answer. I don't mind being a so-called a bad person or whatever it is, but by asking and getting some feedback from them. So people cannot compel us to fall into their journey or their belief. Everybody have a different belief system, and the only thing that we can do is that we can put up our arguments in a very constructive manner to see whether you can convince them. If you can't convince them because of the authority that they have, then they wanted to bulldoze it through. we, Probably we just can't do anything. But by you keeping it, you are being unfair to yourself. You're suppressing your feelings. You don't agree yet, you keep it within yourself. I think that would have some side effects on our self development. So I encourage whoever feels dissatisfied with whatever views aired in a meeting and so on, please voice out. You have to be fair to yourself. You don't have to be a yes man or yes woman, but you can craft it in a very polite manner so that the message gets into them strong enough. And end of the day, you're conscious. Your conscience feels good. You feel good having done justice to your role. That would be my opinion.
All right. Thank you, Anil. So, moving on to Archie. So, just a question to you: what motivates you to be a leader, and how do you, or how did you overcame the challenges initially?
Come again, Meyya. I didn't get you.
What motivates you to be a leader, and how did you overcome the challenges initially?
What motivates me to be a leader?
Yeah.
Actually, I didn't discover it myself. When I joined the Toastmasters Club, for example, they just push me to it and say, hey, you got the qualities, why don't you be in an exco? And that's where the journey started. So when you join a very good organization or a community organization, if you're in the right place and you didn't know that you have the skills, the members will see and they will encourage you to go. Now, this is different. That was 25 years ago. Now, at 24 years later, when I became an exco for the Pink Unity, it's a different skill because you've already matured, you've gone through the journey, but yet it was a different skill. It's not like you have AB and you take that AB and become an AB here. The formula is different. And initially, it's a lot of settling in, a lot of difficult situation because it's different, it's cultural, different ethnic groups. So you've got to handle it one by one at a time. Take one step by one step. Because if you take everything together, all the issues, you will feel demotivated and say, oh, I want to give up. I want to give up. So take each step at a time, each challenges at a time, and then you feel motivated. You feel very good about yourself. Once you've settled in it, you say, okay, I'm ready to go for bigger challenges. So it's basically taking one step at a time. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's a piece of cake. Once you go in, you zoom in and you say, I know everything under the sun. I know how to handle. No way. It's a learning process. It's a learning curve, and you need to take that number of journeys, to achieve what you really want. So it molds you, definitely molds you. I wasn't like this 24 years ago. Now I'm more approachable, more friendly, and more down to earth. So this is what it has changed, you see. Back to you, Meyya.
Thank you. So definitely, it's not a matter of egoism. It's more how much down to earth are you in. So, Tanya, there's a follow-up question on the speech. Do you feel threatened when someone questions your decision, as decision making is very crucial?
Decision making, of course, is very crucial in any organization at any time. How simple the decision could be also, we cannot just get a decision from the sky. We normally apply a thought process, think about it, look into the consequences, and we execute the decision. But when you have made a decision and you add the decision to your committee for that matter, and someone challenged you, someone threatens you or challenged you, do I feel threatened? No. Why should I? I believe I've applied my belief value system into making that decision. If the decision brings some adverse consequences, then I'm prepared to own up to the consequences and apologize to the people. But I don't have to feel threatened because I think it's my decision. The important thing is I shouldn't run away from my decision. Whatever the consequences, I stand by my decision. Right or wrong, I'm prepared to face the consequences. And as a leader, we should never be afraid to apologize if things have gone wrong. Let's put that ego behind. We are also human beings. We can make errors. When we make errors, please acknowledge it. Be prepared to apologize and move on. So don't feel threatened. It's your decision. You have certainly thought about it with some beliefs, some grounds. So stand by that. That's what I would urge every leader to do. Meyya.
So definitely, there's no place for egoism here again. So yeah, be open-minded. Apologize for things that you do wrong. Not all of us are perfect. End of the day. All right. So Archie, how do you apply, or how to apply effective strategy to avoid emotional decisions?
We are all human beings. We are filled with emotions, frustration, stress, and a lot more. It's not easy when you feel like one of your members are not doing their work and you feel like strangling them, but you cannot do it. So you must find ways, and it's not easy. Emotion, first you need to handle your own emotions first on how you want to handle that person, the situation. Because a lot of us get carried away by emotion, we make a decision and then we realize we made a mistake and it comes up so messy. So before you make a decision, you really have to think about it. Let's say you receive an email, for instance, and you're so annoyed or stressed up with the whole thing. Don't reply immediately. You know, take a day or take a few hours later and you reply. The effect is different. So I won't say there is a ABC formula to deal with emotions and the situation you are in. It's all about how you want to address it. In the end of the day, sometimes, as Tani said, you've got to apologize. You've got to really say, hey, I made a mistake, but can we work this out? So handling emotions, even with staff, is so difficult. So emotions with total strangers who have no connection with you except that they happen to be in the same organization or community, it's a really challenging task to do. But if you have in your skills, in your journey of leadership, handle different kind of situations, then somehow you will find a way to handle, or you think you found a way to handle that emotional conflict. Not easy. We all go through different phases of life and we make different decisions. Not easy at all, but sometimes you have to make that decision.
Okay. So definitely it's not easy, to make certain decisions. It's hard, but you have to make certain times. Okay, put your feet down. Right. So Anna, it's an interesting question for you. When you voice out fairness, there is a risk of you being thrown out as a leader. Okay, so because you can't be just fair to everyone. So the other way is just go with the flow, be a yes man. So your opinion on this?
Okay, if we are afraid of being thrown out, or if you have a leader who victimizes us because of we voice out something and they penalize us, then for a matter of fact, I wouldn't want to serve in such kind of leadership, because you must have a democratic process of you airing your views. Whether the committee accepts it or not, that doesn't matter. But there should be avenue for you to raise it up. And if we are afraid to raise up because we will be victimized, then I think something very seriously need to be done in that organization or committee, because that is heading towards an autocratic execution, autocratic leadership, which is not healthy to any organization for that matter. Going by the flow, well, sometimes we can just bite our tooth and stay calm, looking for a better opportunity where we can raise up and get the outcome that we want by not going on a head-on basis. We can always think that out of the box. But if you have a leader who doesn't even apologize, who doesn't even respect your views, then I'm pretty sad. I wouldn't want to be sitting in such a committee under such a leadership. That would be a mockery to the whole leadership process. So in conclusion, I think if you ask me, we should voice out. We should voice out strongly, provided we have proper merits and in a very constructive way. Constructive meaning you also give an alternate solution to them when you give that problem in a constructive way, and be strong. Be strong. This is part of the process which molds us into becoming an effective leader. We face that. It's not a bed of roses, ladies and gentlemen. Leadership journey is not bed of roses. We will have a lot of thorns like this along the way. But how strong are we in facing and being strong? That would decide how good leader we can become in life. To you, Meyya.
So yeah, so it's definitely not a smooth sailing road. It's definitely there should be potholes, obstacles. We just need to get over it, right? So there's a follow-up question to watch here. So MK advice delay is in a way to overcome emotional issues.
I wouldn't say delay. You delay it just because it's an emotional issue. Definitely not. What I'm saying is delay so that you can get your thoughts, your feelings, your emotion in place first before you make a decision. When we are very angry, we take very rash decisions, irrational decisions. And then later on we say, ah, yeah, I shouldn't have done that. So what I'm saying is give yourself some time. It need not be even 24 hours. It could just be 2 hours. Don't do it immediately. When you say delay, it's like delaying for such a long time until the issue gets settled by itself. Issue will never get settled. You have to address the issue as a leader. And when you want to address it, be firm, be clear of what you want and how you want to handle it. So you've got to get yourself in the right direction first. So that's why I'm saying delay to give you time to really see how you want to handle it. Not delay so that the matter will disappear and everyone will have forgotten. It doesn't work that way at all at leadership. They think you're a coward and you're not handling it. That's bad leadership, actually. Back to you, Meyya.
Okay, so as what Archie said, it reminds me of one of the Prabhupada movie, Kavilan. So the hero will say, whether you're overly sad or overly happy or overly angry, just pause for 60 seconds, then only act. Okay, because it can actually change the decisions, okay, or the situations itself. So yeah, that's what Archie is trying to say, is that you're not just pushing it or just dumping it away. It's just that just delaying it at least for a few hours or few minutes so that things can be calmed down and you can make a better decision. Right. So any other questions? We have 4 more minutes left. Maybe we can go for one more last one. Okay. So it's definitely a good, fruitful session discussing with both of you. All right, definitely a lot of goodies to take back. Just do it. Mindset change. Have a hot eye. Communication is very crucial. Building a rapport, one-to-one. Having coffee session or a mama session. Okay, or evolve yourself. That's one way. And of course, there's what I may say. It's never a bed of roses. There's always thorns. Okay. There's another question to Thannimalai. How to grab opportunity in a polite way? How to grab opportunity in a polite way?
Okay, opportunities, sometimes it just doesn't knock our door. We need to look for it. So if you think you can contribute, you can always tell the leader or the organization by offering yourself in a voluntary manner, can I come in to help? I remember how I got into the trade union movement during my early days in the banking was I was active in sports. And when they organize sports activities, I volunteer myself to be a subcommittee in the sports activities of a trade union. And that's how I picked up. And to the extent I became a state secretary for that organization. So everything starts from small. We just have to be prepared to go into any volunteer role, a small role, before we rise up in that organization. Because remember, anything that comes easy goes off easy. We need to climb up in a very patient manner so that your foundation is strong when you are at the top. So go for the smallest role in any organization. Just open up, ask the leader or the organization, can I support you? Can I do this? Can I do that? Based on the skills that you have, because you could be probably a good MC or good event organizer. You can tell them, can I help you organize this event? You don't speak, nobody knows. You speak to sell your talent, and using it, you can actually grab the opportunity. Sniff the opportunity and move on. It's possible. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Ane. So, yeah, we are reaching towards final 2 minutes. So, as what Ane said, see what are your skills, see where you can help on. Okay, see if you have any specific skills, volunteer, and of course, humble bounce, but ego kills. So never ever put your ego at the first place, and always be apologetic. The thing is that you can always make mistake, but you can always learn. All right. So thanks a lot to both the speakers, Thannimalai and Valliammai. Okay, it was definitely a fruitful session. We had a lot of things, goodies to bring back actually. Right, a lot of things that we learned, although it was just within a short session today. So I'm sure people will learn more in coming, years, and there'll be more leaders, among other cars will be taking up roles and leadership roles in our organizations. All right. So that actually wraps up to our series number 6, Beginning with Panic. Next week, there's another interesting session, series number 7, where you'll be having students leadership. Okay, students who will have leadership in the universities and colleges will be sharing their experiences being a student leader. Okay, so it's something new which I'm venturing into. So it's just wait for my further announcements. I'll keep you posted. All right. So with that, thanks all for the session today. I hope you have enjoyed. So hope to see you soon. Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you. Michael.
Thank you.
Bye.
Vanakkam, Nandri.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.